Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Tune Talk with Andy. Now, in today's episode, we will be discussing Djent is Not a Genre by Periphery. Now, this is actually my second time recording this. I actually had the video ready and was supposed to be my second video on this channel, but due to rendering issues and the loss of the initial file, I've had to do this again. So I do apologize, but I mean, you'll get it now, so it doesn't really matter. Now, this was published on March 10th of 2023, so it's actually quite a recent album. It falls within the Djent and progressive metalcore genre, quite funnily enough. Now, to kick off this album, we have Wildfire, and this is actually such a strong opening song for an album like this. It really fits the album to damn near perfection. The variation between the growls and the clear vocals is really what carries this tune a lot. It has these amazing instrumentals that builds upon itself throughout. The vocal runs are just downright unique. They're actually among the most unique I've seen in ages, at least from modern progressive metalcore type bands or just metal in general. They're quite unique, and that's a huge plus in my book. When someone is actually able to do something unique that's not pretentious. So this is done really well. The lyricism is great on the song, I really like it, and the song length itself is quite appropriate in my personal opinion. However, this is more of a grower than a shower, so I'm not surprised if someone might rank it a 7, and then eventually it gets up to like an 8.5 or something like that. But for me personally, this is an 8, so it's a damn good song, but it's not perfect. It is probably going to get up in the ratings as time goes on, but for the time being, it's an 8. Next up, however, we have Atropos. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, or Atropos. I do not care. It's a solid song. It has decent lyricism and solid progression throughout, but there is one thing. It does kind of sound like 2000s Disney made this song. It feels like if you take a standard 2000s Disney song and you just turn that into a prog tune, this is what it would be if you just look away from the growls. But yeah, it's somewhat boring in certain spots, and the vocal runs are a bit lazy at times. But overall, it's a 7.5 out of 10, so it's not bad by any means. It's just a bit iffy here and there. But from one okay song to one extremely good song, we have Wax Wings. This is hands down one of the best songs on the album. I think it's my second favorite, and you'll see which the favorite one is quite soon. I gave this a 9 out of 10. Really good song. It's extremely catchy, and the opening is damn good. It's the perfect song length for what the song is, and the vocal runs are just downright great. They're just some of the strongest I've seen in time. That's something that this album does do fairly well, at least on some of the songs. The lyricism is solid, and the instrumentals are just amazing. They're fantastic. Downright phenomenal. The guitar solo is a bit simple though. That's the only thing about the instrumentals. It doesn't really drag the tune down. It's just the fact that if the lyricism was a bit better, like it's solid, but if it could have been great, then it might have been a 9.5. But it doesn't get me feeling anything, so that's why it can't be a 10 for me. Now, from one of the best songs on the album to an okay song again, it's Everything Is Fine. And I've got to say, the opening is really poor. It's a huge letdown, major disappointment, but the latter half of the song is a significant improvement, I have to say. The guitar solo is great, and it doesn't drag on, so it's actually really good that they found a suitable song length for what the song is. And yeah, as I said, there is significant improvement throughout, and you can see this especially with the instrumentals. They really just gradually builds upon itself, and it just gets better with every minute, man. But yeah, the vocal runs here are a bit weak, so it's still not one of the best songs. It's a 7 out of 10, not bad by any means, but it's still not one that I'm personally fond of. Now, on to the best song on the album, hands down. Silhouette. I gave this a 9.5 out of 10. It's such a good song. It's downright euphoric and vibrant. It does get me feeling things, but certain aspects of the mixing, especially towards the end, is a bit iffy. So if they just tweaked that, it could have been a 10. But the instrumentals to me in certain parts are a bit reminiscent of Riverside. Not in like entire sections and stuff, but there's something there that just reminds me a bit of them, if that makes sense. The vocals are catchy and sweet, and the lyricism is great. So overall, it's just a strong song. Oh, there's so many good songs on this album, holy shit. The next song is Dying Star. This is an 8.5 out of 10. Such a good song, man. The instrumentals on this one, they're just so unique, and they're so good. And the vocal runs as well, they're catchy, and they're just good. There's not much else to say, it's just good. The whole song is good. Like, what else is there to say? The lyricism is solid. I'm a huge fan of the chorus, that's probably the best part. But the song's pacing early on could be a bit more dynamic for me personally, but I mean, it's not bad, it's not really what I want to listen to. On to the next song, Zagreus. I gave this an 8 out of 10, the instrumentals are great, the lyricism, it's solid, there is a great switch up between the first and the latter half of the song. I'm not exactly sure what they did to make that work, but the switch up, man, it's done so well. The change of pacing is just, I like that about Periphery just in general. Their pace changes tend to be quite good, at least in my personal opinion. It does drag a bit towards the end, so they could trim certain sections down, but other than that, man, it's quite good. The vocal runs are a bit dry at times, but I mean, I can look past that considering the instrumentals being this great. But yeah, 8 out of 10. It's a good song, man. Next song, however, is one of the worst songs, and the last one as well is also one of the best songs. So I feel like this album should have ended with Zagreus, which is the one we were last talking about. Draculgrass, I gave this a 6.5, and the last one, Thanks Nobu, a 6 out of 10. So they could have skipped them. They're nothing. They're not that good. They're just okay at best. Now, Draculgrass has some fun vocal runs and some fun instrumentals, but everything else, man, it feels like there's two songs just randomly mixed together, and it just creates this shit show that I don't really appreciate. So yeah, it's not for me personally. It drags way too much and gets boring with time. So the last two songs are the longest, I think, like 10 plus minutes. They shouldn't have done that. They should have stuck to like 6-8 minutes. So it really just drags a lot. But yeah, onto the worst song on the album, as I said, Thanks Nobu, 6 out of 10. It has phenomenal instrumentals, but other than that, yeah, the vocal runs, they're downright bipolar, they're not good at all. The lyrics are so weak, man, they're just dead. And it drags so much, so if you only care about instrumentals, this is probably one for you, but it's not for me personally, because it's just so weird. Now overall, if I add all of these songs together and I divide them. Now if we add all songs together and we divide it by the number of songs, we get, at least from my personal rankings, I got 7.7 out of 10. So it's a strong album, and it's definitely worth a listen. It's definitely one of the best albums to be released this year, I can't lie. It's really good. I would recommend anyone to check it out if you're into this genre. If you're not particularly into this genre, but you like metal in general, or just something a bit powerful, I would highly recommend Wax Wings. And if you're more of a vibe kind of guy when it comes to music, I would definitely recommend Silhouette, at least listening to those two, because those two songs stick out a lot. But I would still advise anyone to just, give it a try and try and see if you can get your own thoughts on the matter. But yeah, overall, it's just damn good. Really strong. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the album. Could be improved in certain spaces, and the last two songs are just, I skipped them. They're not for me. But everything else is just really nice. It's done really well. Huge props to Periphery for producing yet another banger. But yeah, without further ado, thank you all so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any albums you would like to recommend, type them in the comments below. Leave a like and feel free to subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. Now, have a good one, and I will be back quite soon.